Today, Ryder's playing the demo deck, Into the Abyss. Brian's playing a new playtest deck named Time is a Fruit. Both players draw 7 cards, then mulligan by putting up to 3 on the bottom of their decks, then draw back up to 7 again to get their opening hands. Ryder's opening hand: Endless Ram, Dealmaker Palladius, Crypt Reach Province. The First, Dark Iron City, Wretched Mirror of Requiem, Charging Pulpo. Brian's opening hand: Vob Stalker, Pathfinding Klee, Empress Aurelia, Wave Whisperer Bay, Ryland Windstrider, Chieftain Klee. The First. To start round 1, each player gets 3 actions, 1 energy, and each player draws a card. Brian spends an action to play Wave Whisperer Bay. It's a Thalwyn land that says he can look at the top card of his deck and put it on the bottom if he wants to. He decides to put it on the bottom. On his turn, Ryder spends an action to play Crypt Reach Province. It's an Umbrathine land that says, on play, deny 1, so he gets to put the top card of his deck into the Abyss. Brian spends 1 action and 1 energy to play Empress Aurelia. It normally costs 2 energy to play, but his Thalwyn land is reducing the cost by 1. She has the ability to tap and spend an action to portal any wonder into her same realm. Ryder spends 1 action and 1 energy to play Endless Ram, a 4-power wonder with no abilities. Brian spends an action to draw a card. Ryder spends his last action to attack in Realm 1 and take the stone. To start round 2, each player gets 3 actions, 2 energy, plus 1 energy for each stone they have. Then each player draws a card. Ryder was the last one to capture a stone, so he takes the first turn. Ryder spends an action to play The First, a land that gives him an orbital link to every orbital in the game. Brian spends 1 action and 0 energy to play Pathfinding Klee. It's a frog explorer that says whenever a land enters under your control in this realm, this gets 3 +1 counters. This little guy loves finding land, and this deck has a ton of land in it, so get ready for a huge frog. Ryder spends 1 action and 3 energy to play Bone Harvest Harp. It's an equipment that says the equipped wonder can tap to create a 1-power skeleton token, and if any undead dies, it can untap. Brian spends an action to play his own copy of The First. And guess what? The little frog has found a land. He's so happy he gets 3 +1 counters. Ryder still has 1 action left, but he passes, letting Brian take the next turn. I wonder why he would do that. Brian spends his last action and attacks with the frog, taking the stone in Realm 2. Now we see Ryder's plan. He spends his last action and 0 energy on Dealmaker Palladius. It's a 1-cost, 6-power wonder, but you can only play it in a realm where an opponent controls the stone. Equipment automatically equips to any wonder it can, so the Dealmaker Palladius picks up the harp. At the end of the round, there's a wonder in the Abyss beginning to claw its way back out. Ryder's Deny 1 effect was lucky enough to put the Remains of Barnabas in the Abyss. This little guy can automatically come out of the Abyss anywhere you want him to at the end of every round. Ryder puts him in Realm 2, so he can be an audience for the demon playing his harp music. To start round 3, each player gets 3 actions, 3 energy, plus 1 more energy for each stone they control. Then each player draws a card. Brian plays the Patria land Quiet Creek. His little frog is so happy it gets another 3 +1 counters, bringing it up to 7 power. On Ryder's turn, he decides it's time to start the music and uses his harp to summon a 1-power skeleton. He didn't have his token cards with him today, so he's going to use a sleeve to represent the 1-power skeleton and put it in Realm 3. On his turn, Brian uses an action to play Ryland Windstrider. This cool kitty cat is a mercenary pilot. It can tap to look at the top 3 cards of your deck and play something with cost 2 or less for free. Then it can automatically move that thing to an adjacent realm. Ryder spends an action and 2 energy to play Charging Pulpo. The pulpo is 8 power, but the downside is, on arrival, you have to sacrifice a wonder. Whenever an undead dies, it untaps whoever's playing the harp, so Ryder will be able to make another skeleton on a future turn. His dinner party is looking like a big success. On Brian's turn, he spends an action to activate Empress Aurelia's portal ability. That means she can banish a wonder and then bring it back into the world in her own realm. This triggers the pulpo's on-arrival ability again, and so Ryder has to sacrifice another wonder. He lets it eat his endless ram. Ryder plays Dark Iron City, a land that's going to help him fill up the abyss. Brian is out of actions this round, but on his turn, he harvests a land to give himself one more action. Ryder still has one action left, and he spends it on a Wretched Mirror of Requiem. It says the next time an opponent's wonder arrives anywhere, that wonder has to be sacrificed. It's a very disruptive card, because now, instead of playing the card he wanted to play, Brian has to waste his action on a low-value wonder. That means he'll have extra energy wasted at the end of the round. Brian plays Aaron Sharpeye, a bear soldier. Aaron gets to put 2+1 counters on something when he arrives. Brian puts the counters on Rylan. But now Aaron the bear sees the mirror. Don't look at it, Aaron! It's too late, but at least he got to help out by making counters. To start round 4, each player gets 3 actions, 4 energy, plus another energy for each stone they control. Then each player draws a card. Brian spends an action to attack in Realm 3, taking the stone. Ryder spends 1 action and 3 energy to play Valthok Bladebane. It's an orc soldier that also likes to eat other wonders. He probably heard there was some free food here. On Brian's turn, he decides to use Rylan Windstrider's Tap Free ability. Tap Free means you can tap something on your turn, but it doesn't use an action. Brian gets to reveal the top 3 cards of his deck, and if any of them are wonders with cost 2 or less, he can play one for free. And it's a complete fail. A 3 cost and 2 lands. That's what happens when you try to cheat out cards for free. On Ryder's turn, he uses Valthok's ability to tap and sacrifice a wonder to put 3+1 counters on itself. He eats the remains of Barnabas, which sounds kind of disgusting. Brian plays a Rockskin Shredder. This is a Sulfera monster that gets 2+1 counters when any player harvests any land. This thing is quite scary and can get absolutely huge. On his turn, Ryder plays Flying Suzzard. It's a giant insect that gives -1 counters for each card in the Abyss. Ryder has 4 cards in the Abyss. That's enough to kill off the Shredder. Brian spends his turn to play Clear Sky Eyrie, a Thalwyn land. Both players are out of actions, but it doesn't cost an action for Ryder to use his harp. So he's going to play some music and make another skeleton token. Then both players pass, and it's the end of the round. To start round 5, each player gets 3 actions, 5 energy, plus another energy for each stone they control. Then each player draws a card. On his turn, Brian plays Skyrake Gearhawk. It's a blacksmith knight that can tap to create a wave sword. The wielder of a wave sword can portal a wonder on attack. On his turn, Ryder spends an action to draw a card. On his turn, Brian uses Skyrake to create a sword. He puts it in Realm 4, waiting for some wonder to come and fight Valthok and the Suzzard. Ryder destroys it with an energy extraction. Creator makes a masterpiece, and self-interested enemies want to destroy it. Anyway, now Brian plays Chieftain Klee, another frog who can get bigger based on the number of lands he controls. Ryder spends an action to attack in Realm 4 and takes the stone. Both players pass and the round ends. But guess who shows up at the end of any round? Back from the Abyss, it's the remains of Barnabas. I didn't hear no bell. To start round 6, each player gets 3 actions, 6 energy, plus an energy for each stone they control, and each player draws a card. Ryder was the last one to capture a stone, so he takes the first turn. He's got another Wretched Mirror. The next wonder Brian puts into the world is going to be insta-killed. On his turn, Brian plays another Thalwyn land. Now Ryder plays Caroline in Realm 6. She's the only Patria card in this evil Umbrathine deck, and she always shows up with her best friend Bella the dog. What is she even doing in this evil deck? She's there to see if your opponents will destroy her or destroy Bella. Ryder has a homemade Bella token he puts in Realm 2. Brian plays a Vobstalker, which is a cool card, but doesn't matter because it's sacrificed immediately to the mirror. Ryder attacks in Realm 2 and has enough power to take the stone. Brian spends an action to attack with Skyrake and takes a stone. Ryder attacks with Caroline in Realm 6 and takes the stone there. Both players pass and the round ends. To start round 7, each player gets 3 actions, 7 energy, plus an extra energy for each stone they control, and each player draws a card. Brian pretends like he's only going to harvest 1 land for an action. Then he acts like he changed his mind and decides to harvest 4 lands for 4 actions. He's hoping Ryder will not harvest all his lands. That puts Brian up to 7 actions for round 7. Ryder plays the Keeper of Drury Skulls in Realm 7. It's kind of a weak wonder, but he's waiting to see what Brian will do next. It's Path of Light, a spell that shuts off all items and lands on the board for 1 round. Ryder loses the 2 actions he could have harvested from his lands. Ryder activates his Keeper of Skulls to put some more cards in the Abyss. Now Brian is spending 6 energy. It must be something big. It's Veridon, a legendary wizard hero. He lets you look at the top card of your deck, and if it's a wonder, play it for free. Then he gets to do it again in every realm where you control a land. He puts out a call to all the creatures of the wilderness, and then we get to see who comes to help him. The first one is, oh my god, it's Fungalith Colossus. It's a 12 power wonder that buffs himself on arrival. That's going to be a problem to deal with. Our free wonder in Realm 1 is a land. No good. In Realm 2 we have another Ryland Windstrider. That's cool. In Realm 4 we get a free Red Stooling Hunter. This little thing is dangerous. With its sharp little claws, it hands out -1 counters every time it battles. Realm 5 was another miss with just a land. Ryder's looking for a Hail Mary to get him out of this one. He just draws a card. Brian attacks in Realm 6 with 17 power and takes the stone. Ryder attacks with the Skullkeeper in Realm 7 just to see if he can squeak out a draw. Brian activates his Chieftain Klee to put 5+1 counters on it. Ryder's out of actions now. Brian still has a few actions left to do whatever he wants. Brian attacks in Realm 4, putting -1 counters on Flying Suzzer thanks to Red Stooling Hunter. That's a little taste of your own medicine there, Suzzer. That's enough to take the stone. Ryder's out of actions, there's no free actions left on the board, so that's it. Good game.